massacres against the Palestinians, what we've called by the Israelis, the Christmas massacres. 2 days after Christmas, by the second day of the assaults, 200 Palestinian children had been murdered. 22 days later, over 6,000 Palestinians were brutally injured. Another 1,400 murdered. 950 of those 1,400 were women and children. And today, as 1 year later, the situation in Gaza has in fact worsened. The restrictions and the closures and the siege imposed by the Israelis has become tighter. They still don't have access to food, clean water, sewage supplies, all the basic necessities for life. As this continues, just yesterday, 6 Palestinians were murdered in Nablus. 2 days after 3 young men were killed execution style by the Israeli occupation forces. And of course, we remain the largest refugee population on earth. 2/3 of the Palestinian people are refugees living in camps. The people of Gaza need our support. What we need to do, number one, is follow up, make sure that there is in fact a war crimes tribunals for the Israelis who participated in the massacres, not just the massacres of 2008, but the massacres for the past 62 years, the massacre of Jenin in 2003, the massacres of Deir Yassin in 1948. We also need to start, during this economic recession, keep American dollars in American hands right here. We have to stop sending our money to the Israeli criminal state, criminal as found by international bodies across the world. And we need to educate our community, our students, our university professors, our neighbors, our people about what's happening in Palestine and how we're being used to further these war crimes.
It's not enough that you come to the street, but you need to take action. So this is the plan. From now on, the General Union of Palestine students will start a campaign to educate and support our students in refugee camps in Gaza, West Bank, Lebanon, and Syria, and Jordan. So the GUMS will start a campaign, and we're going to start fundraising, collecting money to support people back home in refugee camps to send them to college. Palestine! Welcome to my country, Palestine. Welcome to the land of the native people here. America, go home.
The world at large, unfortunately, is under the impression that Zionism is Judaism. It's one and the same. Nothing can be further from the truth. Diametrically opposed. How ironic, because our religion forbids us from maintaining any sovereignty anywhere globally.
If they want to know terror, go to Gaza. Terror is when you bomb a school, when you bomb hospitals, when you run over homes with tanks, when you can't recognize your loved ones because they have been murdered and bombed by bombs and bullets supplied by USA. And let's be clear, there's a nicer face on U.S. imperialism with President Barack Obama, but it's still the same. There would be no Zionism without U.S. imperialism. But we also know that the Palestinian people have come to mean resistance. Gaza means resistance. All who love freedom, all who oppose occupation and racism and Zionism and apartheid, all who are for freedom, love the Palestinian people. And if the Pentagon and the White House and Wall Street want to stop resistance, get the hell out of the Middle East.
U.S. imperialism is in a crisis. It's in its worst crisis. It's in its weakest point. But before it comes down, it will kill. But we have a more powerful weapon. We are the revolutionary force that will topple down imperialism.
Gaza to send medical aid. We found out, just like the convoy is finding out right now, that the Egyptian government is really in cahoots with the Israeli government and not allowing the people of Palestine to get the aid that they need.
How can so much wealth and power be arrayed against such a small plot of earth? U.S. Army engineers stationed on the Gaza-Egypt border to try and stop food, medicine, and building materials from getting through. They are building a wall 20 meters deep to block the tunnels through which the Gaza people get their food. All of this would not be possible without U.S. dollars. It would not be possible without U.S. arms. This is inhumane. Today at 11:25 a.m., members of the Viva Palestina International Aid Convoy to Gaza began a hunger strike in protest at the Egyptian government's refusal to allow aid into the Strip.
Good afternoon to everybody in Times Square. I understand that there are 200 vehicles, 500 people, drawn from 17 different nations, including the United States, in the port city of Aqaba. We have been here for the last 3 days, unaccountably delayed by the Egyptian authorities from taking much needed medical aid and our vehicles and people to the besieged people of Gaza. We will be calling on people around the world not just to demonstrate against the primary culprit, Israel, but, if necessary, against those who are preventing us from bringing aid to Israel's victims, in this case, the state of Egypt. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak. I wish I was there with you, but even more so, I wish you were there with us. One day, perhaps, we'll all be together in a free, liberated Palestine.